I just record.
Let's look at this. Paul's contradictions. Romans chapter number 2, 11 through 13. For there is no respect of persons with God. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law, and as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. Now see, we love to use this as Hebrews to come against our Christian brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
This is a favorite passage that we love to use, right?
Yeah.
So let's look and see it. Romans chapter 6, 14 through 15. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law,
Yep.
but grace.
Yep.
Now here's another scripture that our Christian brothers and sisters love to use against the Hebrews. So now we're seeing here clearly that somebody got to be right and somebody got to be wrong. Both are trying to prove a point from a carnal perspective, to prove who's right. Both are trying to use it from an evangelistic tool and not from a salvation tool. Both are trying to prove who has the label, who needs to be followed, who's the heretic, and who's not. So let's see, there has to be something deeper going on here with Paul. For what then, verse number 15, what then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid. So is Paul being double-minded? Now some of our Hebrew brothers who come to a mindset that they don't want to deal with Paul no more because they believe that Paul is contradicting himself.
Right.
They believe that Paul can't make up his mind.
Right.
But that's a spiritual problem.
Yeah.
Paul's not juggling back and forth.
Right.
He's not trying to appease anybody. He's not contradicting himself. Okay? It's a deeper understanding. Now let's look at Paul's teaching. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. So we clearly see that at some point in time, this is the letter to the Thessalonians. He said, remember ye not that when I was yet with you. So this goes to show us that Paul at one point in time, because this is a letter that he's writing, at one point in time, he taught them face to face like we having a conversation right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when Paul writes his letters, he doesn't have to go into a full soliloquy or a dissertation about when he discussed with you face to face. He can simply say, we ain't under the law.
Right.
Because the people he's teaching, he taught them face to face. And he gave them the full detail of what he meant.
Yeah.
But when he writes the letter to them, he doesn't have to say such and such and such and such. He can say we're not under the law. And the person who's the elder or who's established as the teacher over that congregation knows exactly what Paul is talking about.
Right.
Okay? Acts, let's see it. Because we just saw a letter to the Thessalonians, so now let's deal with Paul establishing these churches. Because every way he wrote a letter, he established a church.
Yeah.
Or he visited that city.
Yeah.
Acts 17 and 10. And I tell brothers and sisters all the time, if you have not read the book of Acts, stay away from Paul.
Right.
Don't deal with none of Paul's letters until you read and get an understanding of the book of Acts. Because Acts sets the stage for Paul's letters, and Acts sets the stage of how the church is supposed to function as an organism. Okay? Acts 17 and 10. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Buren, who coming thither went into the synagogue of the Jews. These were more noble than those in... See that? In that they received the word. He was there. He taught them face to face. So he doesn't have to come in. That's why I said, Peter says, the way he writes can be hard to be understood, because if you read his letters and you read it as is and you don't take into account that he's taught people face to face, you will automatically assume that he's saying something that he's not. Okay? in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. You can search the scriptures daily and still be biblically educated, searching the scriptures daily, but you can be spiritually dumb. Yeah. They had a balance. They understood the importance of the spirit, but they also understood the importance of study. Okay?